Fitria Sinaga. I would like to present my opinion about smoking in campus area. First of all, we all know that a campus is a place for learning, thinking, and developing ourselves. It is where we spend time studying, attending class, doing group work, and preparing for our future. Because of that, the campus environment should be clean, healthy, and comfortable for everyone. However, when smoking happens in the campus area, especially in open space where many students gather, it creates several problems. The first problem is related to health. Cigarette smoke contain many harmful chemicals such as nicotine and carbon monoxide. The chemicals do not only harm the person who smokes, but also the people around them. This is called second-hand smoke. Even if someone does not smoke, they can still inhale the smoke and get the same negative health effects. For example, second-hand smoke can cause headaches, coughing, difficulty breathing, and even trigger asthma for some people. In the long term, it can increase the risk of heart disease and lung cancer. This is why smoking in public is dangerous. The second problem is comfort. The smell of cigarette smoke can be very strong and unpleasant. Imagine you are studying outside or walking to class in the morning, and suddenly the smell of smoke enters your nose. Many students need a clean environment to think clear, especially when preparing for exam or presentation. Smoking in campus area can also affect the campus image. A campus should represent discipline, cleanliness, and a healthy learning environment. If students smoke freely everywhere, it may look like the campus does not care about health or rules. A smoke-free campus shows responsibility and respect, and it creates a better image for students, lecturers, and visitors. Because of the reason, I believe that smoking should not be allowed in campus area. However, I also understand that some people are already addicted to smoking and it may be difficult for them to stop immediately. So, I think a better solution is a private or special smoking zone for away from classroom, libraries, and crowded to student area. This way, smokers still have a place where they can smoke, while non-smokers can stay safe and comfortable. To conclude, a campus is a place for learning and growing. We all deserve a healthy environment. Smoking in campus area brings negative effects to health, comfort, and the campus image. Therefore, I support of idea making the campus smoke-free except for design smoking area. Hi everyone, my name is Balkis Sister Fitria Sinaga, and today I would like to present a topic entitled The Usage of Modal in Request Word. First of all, what are modal verbs? Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs or helping verbs that are used to express possibility, ability, permission, or necessity. Modal verbs cannot stand alone and must always be followed by a base verb and verb 1. Some modal verbs that are commonly used in daily life include will, would, can, could, might, and might. Modal verbs also have several rules that make them different from ordinary verbs. The first rule is that we do not add the letter S to modal verb even when the subject is he, she, or it. So we cannot say he can or she may. The correct form are he can and she may. The second rule is that modal verb cannot be added with the ending ing. We do not say I'm canning or you are solding. If we want to form a continuous sentence, we must change the structure, not add ing to the modal verb. Now let's look at the basic pattern of modal verb. For positive sentence, the pattern is subject plus modal verb plus verb 1. Example, she can sing. For negative sentence, the pattern is subject, modal verb, not verb 1. Example, she cannot sing. Next, I will explain how some modal verbs are used. 1. Will. The modal verb will means will or going to. In the future, we ask will to express intention, prediction, or request. Intention, I will go to your house tomorrow. Prediction, she will forgive your letter. Request, will you have dinner with me? Would. The modal would is similar to will, but it asks in more formal situation or in conditional sentence. Conditional, if he had apologized earlier, I would forgive him. Polite request, would you lend me your phone? Can. The modal can means can or able to, and is used to show ability, permission, or possibility. Ability, I can play the piano. Permission, can I go to the mall? Possibility, it can be fun if she is here. The modal called is the past form of can, and it also asks to sound more polite. Past ability, when I was younger, I could run very fast. Polite permission, could I sit here? May. The modal may means may or might, and it is often as informal situation. Possibility, Astrid might come after her meeting. Formal permission, might I visit my friend? Might. The modal might also means maybe, but the level of possibility is lower than may. It also sounds more formal. Low possibility, I may meet a K-pop idol if I go to Seoul. So, now I'm going to explain about should, must, and have to. These three words are modal verbs in English. Modal verbs are used to show the speaker's attitude or intention toward an action. First, we have should. We are should to give advice or recommendation. It is not something that is required, but is better to do. For example, you should drink more water. This means it's a good idea to drink more water. Next, we have must. Must is asked to express a strong obligation. It means something is very important and you have to do it. For example, you must wear a seat belt. This means wearing a seat belt is necessary. Then we have to. Have to also mean must, but the obligation comes from rules or situation. For example, I have to go to school at 7 a.m. This means I go to school at 7 because of school rules. So different is should. A suggestion, must, a strong personal obligation, have to, an obligation because of rules or condition. And remember, after this modal verb, we always ask verb 1. Bye-bye.